Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever found yourself just, stuck, like really frustrated? Maybe it's the commute, right? Just crawling along, or your work inbox that just never seems to end.
Oh, yeah. Definitely know that feeling.
Or maybe it's just that background hum of, I don't know, life friction. We all do it, don't we?
Complain, yeah.
We vent, we grumble, we tell anyone who will listen about what's annoying us. It's almost like automatic.
It really is. A default setting, like you said.
But what if complaining isn't just sort of useless? What if it's actually harmful?
Harmful how?
Like bad for your own peace of mind, maybe even a sign of weakness, which some ancient thinkers definitely suggested.
Interesting. So dangerous even.
That's the idea we're digging into today. This deep dive is all about that powerful truth, our mission, to really get into the wisdom of, well, a pretty remarkable historical figure, Marcus Aurelius.
The philosopher emperor.
Exactly. And the philosophy he lived by, Stoicism. We want to figure out why this guy, this Roman emperor, facing, huge challenges.
Yeah, like plagues.
Devastating plagues, betrayals, constant war, family drama, even physical pain, sleepless nights, just immense pressure. Why, despite all that, his personal writings have zero complaints. None.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it.
His journal, meditations, it's just different. It shows this calm reflection, this radical sense of responsibility, self-discipline. It's like a roadmap for being resilient.
And what's so fascinating about Marcus Aurelius, he wasn't just any philosopher. He was the Roman emperor from 161 to 180 AD.
Right, not some guy meditating alone on a mountain.
Not at all. He was running an empire, making massive decisions, dealing with crises constantly. This philosophy, Stoicism, it wasn't just theory for him. It was tested, forged in fire, really.
And Meditations itself, you mentioned it's unique?
Totally unique. It wasn't meant to be published. It was his private journal, his hypomnema, basically notes to himself, just raw, honest thoughts.
Which makes it even more powerful, doesn't it? No performance.
Exactly. And that's why the lack of complaining is so striking. You just don't find him asking, why me? Or why is this happening?
Instead, it's more like...
It's questions like, okay, what can I learn here? Or what part of this is actually up to me?
Yep.
Not blaming circumstances, not blaming other people.
And for anyone maybe not super familiar with Stoicism itself, what's the core idea?
Well, at its heart, Stoicism teaches you to focus laser-like on what you can control, which is basically your thoughts, your choices, your reactions.
Everything else.
Everything else, what happens to you, other people's actions, the state of the world you learn to accept calmly. It's about building inner strength, wisdom, that inner peace they called ataraxia.
That inner peace. Okay. So if Marcus was living this so intensely, what was it specifically in Stoicism that made complaining such a non-starter for him? Was it just seen as, I don't know, inefficient? A waste of time?
Good question. It goes much deeper than just inefficiency. They saw it as actively damaging, a real drain on your most important resource, your inner peace, your agency, your ability to act rationally. And we really need to look at another key Stoic, Epictetus, for this. He had this killer quote, okay? It's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Our judgments about them. Say more about that. Think about it. What is complaining? Fundamentally, it's a judgment, right? You're saying, this shouldn't be happening.
Right. This is unfair. This is bad.
Exactly. You're judging the external event negatively. And that judgment, that's your choice. Your prohairesis, as Epictetus called it, the one thing you actually do control.
Ah, okay. So the Stoic counter move is?
It's to say, look, the event itself, it's neutral. It just is. Traffic is just traffic. Rain is just rain. It's your response, your interpretation, your judgment. That's what gives it meaning. That's your choice.
So complaining is basically choosing a negative meaning.
And choosing to feel disturbed by it. It also shifts the power dynamic completely. When you complain, you're essentially handing your power over to that external thing. You're saying, this traffic jam is controlling my mood. This difficult person is ruining my day.
You make yourself a victim.
Precisely.
Right.
But when you choose acceptance, just acknowledging this is the situation, and then focus on what you can control.
My attitude, my next step.
Your attitude, your effort, your choices, yeah.
Yeah.
You take your power back. You become the actor, not the one being acted upon.
That's a huge mental shift. Really powerful, but yeah, definitely challenging. Especially when things are genuinely tough.
Oh, absolutely. It's easy to talk about, harder to live.
But Marcus Aurelius did live it, even facing just unimaginable situations. You mentioned the plague earlier. Let's maybe use that as a real-world test case. Paint that picture for us.
Okay, yeah. This really shows the philosophy under extreme pressure. So, during Marcus's reign, Rome gets hit by the Antonine Plague. Historians think maybe smallpox, maybe measles.
Not just a minor outbreak.
It's not at all catastrophic. We're talking potentially millions dead across the empire. It wiped out huge numbers of soldiers, emptied towns, shattered the economy.
Just imagine being the emperor then. The fear, the chaos.
The despair. The pressure would have been immense. Most leaders might have panicked, blamed someone, maybe just collapsed under the weight of it.
But Marcus?
He didn't blame the gods. He didn't wallow in self-pity. He certainly wasn't writing "this is so unfair" in his private journal.
So what did he write?
Amidst all this horror, he writes something like this in Meditations. I'm paraphrasing slightly. Don't waste the rest of your life worrying about what others are doing. We can't know what the world will throw at us, but we can know what we must do.
Wow. Straight back to responsibility.
Straight back to what's in his control, his duty, his actions, his response. Not the plague itself. It's just this incredible example of living stoicism, even when your world is literally falling apart.
Truly amazing. Okay, so it's clear complaining is unhelpful, it drains energy, but you also mentioned the Stoics saw it as actively dangerous. Why dangerous? What's the deeper harm?
Right. It's not just ineffective, it's corrosive. And this is where ancient wisdom really clicks with, like, modern psychology. They saw a few key dangers.
Okay, like what?
First, it digs you deeper into a victim mentality. Every complaint reinforces the idea that things are happening to you, that you're powerless.
Instead of seeing how you can act within the situation.
Exactly. It shifts your whole self-perception from being an agent in your life to just an object being pushed around. Second, it hijacks your focus.
Meaning?
Your energy, your mental bandwidth. It gets stuck on the problem, on how bad it is, not on understanding it, adapting, or finding solutions.
So you get trapped in the negativity.
Totally. Your brain literally gets worse at problem solving when it's stuck in complain mode.
Yeah.
It blinds you to possibilities. It blocks your own resourcefulness.
And the third danger?
It poisons the atmosphere. Your mood goes down, sure, but that negativity spreads. It affects people around you. It can sour relationships, drag down morale in a team, you know.
Yeah, we've all been around someone who's constantly complaining. It's draining.
It really is. And maybe the core Stoic truth here, the really stark one, is this. Complaining doesn't change the situation. It only changes you for the worse.
Oof. That hits hard.
Because every time you complain, you're basically telling your brain, I'm helpless here, I have no control, which is the exact opposite of the central Stoic idea.
Which is that control is always internal.
Always. Your mind, your response, your choices, that's your fortress, your inner citadel, as they called it. Complaining is like willingly lowering the drawbridge and letting the negativity storm in.
Okay, that's a really vivid image. And I think, honestly, many of us do it without realizing the damage. So let's make this really practical. Bring it to right now.
Right.
Picture this. It's easy for most of us. You're stuck in traffic, dead stop, you're late, you feel that heat rising, right?
Yep. Familiar feeling.
You start muttering, maybe lay on the horn, you complain on the phone, or just fume silently. My own first reaction is usually not very stoic, I'll admit.
Join the club. It takes practice.
So, the challenge. Put Marcus Aurelius in that situation. Okay, maybe not a car, but stuck in a chariot jam on a crowded Roman road. Or, I don't know, caught in a downpour, soaked, needing to get somewhere important. How does he react?
Right. Based on Meditations, his response would likely be internal and immediate. Something along the lines of his famous reminder, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining.
Just stop complaining.
He'd recognize the traffic, the rain, whatever it is, as an external, something totally outside his direct control. So, fussing about it, pointless. His focus would snap back inwards.
To what he can control.
His reaction, his thoughts. Maybe use the time to think through a problem, plan his next move, or simply practice the virtue of patience. It becomes an opportunity, not just an annoyance.
Which leads to that direct challenge you mentioned.
Yeah. You could be stoic or you can be triggered. You can't really be both at the same time. It's a choice you make, moment by moment. Every single time something doesn't go your way.
It's a constant practice.
A constant practice. I remember working on this super complex thing once. Everything was going wrong, delays, mistakes. My gut reaction was pure frustration, wanting to just vent. But I consciously tried, okay, what's the Stoic angle? What can I do right now? It's work, even when you know the theory.
That makes it feel achievable, though. Even the small stuff counts. So go, give us something really concrete. An actionable tool we can use, like today, the next time we feel that complaint rising up.
Okay, absolutely. Let's call it the 3-second Stoic rule. Super simple, but really effective.
I'm ready. 3 seconds.
Step 1. The moment you feel that urge, the sigh, the grumble, the internal monologue starting, just pause. Hit the mental brakes for 3 seconds.
Okay, just freeze frame.
Step 2. In that pause, ask yourself one sharp question. Is this worth my peace?
Is this worth my peace?
Is this traffic jam, this annoying email, this minor inconvenience, whatever it is it actually worth sacrificing your inner calm, your ataraxia for?
That really puts it in perspective.
Step 3. Respond based on that answer. Maybe the response is just silence. Maybe it's calm acceptance. Maybe it's shifting your focus. Okay, this is happening. What's my next productive step?
So it forces you to assess the trade-off.
Exactly. Is the fleeting satisfaction of venting worth the cost to your tranquility? It brings that dichotomy of control right into the moment. Is this external thing worth giving my internal power to?
You know, I suspect if we actually did that, we'd find most things aren't worth our peace.
I think you'd be genuinely surprised how often the answer is no. Absolutely not. It snaps the control back to you right there in that micro moment.
Is this worth my peace? I'm taking that one. Definitely using it. Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave everyone with one last thought from Marcus himself, something really potent to chew on.
Yeah, this quote, it kind of sums up the whole Stoic approach to difficulty, and it's incredibly powerful. Marcus wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way."
What stands in the way becomes the way. Wow. Unpack that a little.
That sounds paradoxical, right? But it's fundamental Stoicism. It means the obstacles, the challenges, the very things you want to complain about.
The traffic, the tough project, the pandemic.
All of it. They aren't just random punishments or roadblocks trying to stop you. From the Stoic view, they are the actual material you need for growth.
So they're opportunities.
Exactly. Opportunities to practice, to build resilience, patience, wisdom, courage, self-control. The obstacle isn't blocking the path. The obstacle is the path forward. Dealing with it, learning from it, overcoming it. That is how you move forward and become stronger.
So don't complain about it.
Use it.
Use it. Learn from it. Let it forge you.
Yeah.
Your challenges aren't happening to you in a passive sense. They are happening for you, for your development, if you choose to see them that way. That is a really powerful reframe to end on. So remember, you always have that choice. Every single time something frustrating happens, complain, give away your power, or take that Stoic breath, accept what you can't change, and focus on your response, your growth.
Find the way through the obstacle.
Exactly. Think about how shifting your mindset in this way, taking inspiration from Marcus Aurelius, could genuinely start to change your daily experience. More peace, more control. It really comes down to choosing your response over reaction and finding that strength in whatever stands in your way.